Okay, I think we have got connected now. Let's just. Hi Hitvi, how are you? We are meeting today at Zoom for our webinar. Hi Sana. Hi Neha. Hi Gena. Okay, Shivangi has joined. So Shivangi. Hi Meenaji. Shivangi, I have. Okay, finally we got
Hi,
connected.
yes.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. So we didn't do any trial or mock, and we were fortunate enough to get connected on the first try.
Yes,
So that's good.
thankfully.
So
Yeah.
Shivangi will just wait for a couple of minutes so
Yeah,
that
I can see my people joining.
yeah, definitely you can
Yeah.
wave.
So I've been watching all your sessions and you're doing really good. Like it's
Thank
very
you so much.
motivating for everyone. So there is something, there is a hope that you have to go live every day at 5:30 and you can just
Yeah,
get,
it's become like a ritual now, and
yeah.
honestly, I did not expect that it would go that long. I had planned for a couple of days, maybe thought just utilize this, and actually it kept on building, and I thought it's a nice thing to continue also.
Yes,
Hi
very
Shafaq,
nice
how are
thing.
you doing? Yeah, so I think we got good number of people to start off with, looks like. Okay.
I think we should wait for a couple of seconds. People
Okay.
like I'm getting messages, so I want my
Yeah, no
people to be
worries, no
there.
worries.
Yeah.
I'm 100%. How to motivate and accept parents and family with special needs. We're already getting questions even before the
Yes.
introduction.
Yes.
That's good.
That
Surely
is really
Meenaji, we
nice.
will, yeah, surely Meenaji will make a note of that and
Yes.
we'll address it for sure.
Sure.
Okay. Hi Ruchi Goshar, how are you?
People are asking you should continue this even after
Yeah, and I
lockdown period.
definitely, I have finalized with my, our speakers, and we would be doing from next month, like every weekend, we would come up with one topic. So at least we'll try to cover 4 weekends. So it will definitely continue. Hi, Ashrita. Hi, Dr. Chasnal. And Dr. Chasnal will be one of our part of those experts who will, talk about pediatric problems. Thank you, Meenaji. मीना जी is asking क्या राज है आपका शिवांगी मैडम that you're looking fresh.
Quarantine and chill. I think people have just started taking self-care to another level during this quarantine.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a flip side.
Yes. And also I was suffering through this eye issue and it's called mebomitis. It's a very rare thing. I did not know about this until it happened. So it's like a gland dysfunction. So
Right.
basically I tried to manifest everything. I was like, I have to go live with Harish. So I want
Correct.
everything to be perfect before this live session. So it
Right.
worked.
Yeah. The intention is important end of the day.
Yes.
So, hi Ashrita's mommy, how are you? So I think people will keep joining, but let's start with the
Yes.
intro,
We can
Shivangi.
start.
Yeah. So hi guys, good evening. This is Dr. Harish Badiger, and I hope you all are doing safe and sound. We all know we have started this live series, especially to cope up with this lockdown. And in the past couple of weeks, we have had many experts coming up talking about pediatric health, mental health, nutrition, fitness, immunity, and strategies for parents to cope up this lockdown for their kids. And today's topic is all about mental health. And the reason is I chose to keep 3 topics about mental health out of the 17 topics which I chose. The reason is because in today's date, in last many years, I would say 3 or 4 years, the cases of mental health have been increasing in an alarming rate. And in a country like India, mental health is still considered as a social stigma. We have come across families where they don't want to address that. They don't want to have a transparency. They are very hesitant and they are very confused, to step out and even discuss about it. And this is not good. Honestly, this is not good because this can
True.
actually have a huge impact in their social life, in their professional life, in their personal life. So it's a high time that we kind of address this, we kind of understand this, and we try to seek right information and intervene it. And I do believe that mental health we can control if we can control our own self, our own thoughts. So it all lies within us. So I happened to contact Shivangi, and she was very kind enough to accept my invite and to come here and join us for the live session. And the topic what we happened to choose was about mindfulness thinking, or basically an effective strategy to cope up your mental health for your well-being. So Shivangi, thank you so much for coming here. And you will
Thanks
have
a
to
lot
tell me,
for
yeah, you will.
having me.
Pleasure, pleasure. So Shivangi, tell me something. How did you get into this field? I mean, this section of meditation, motivation,
So,
spirituality, everything.
yeah, so basically, I was actually into writing, and I got into motivational stuff and meditation and yoga and spiritual stuff 4 years back. I used to read a lot, and so while I was experimenting with my writing, I was into Bollywood writing, then I ended up in fashion writing and technical writing. I realized I was more of a storyteller. I kept on reading a lot, and I was always into learning meditation. And when people used to talk about chakras, I used to fancy those stuff. So I always was a little inquisitive towards it, and I always wanted to learn. And then I kept on learning it. So when I started meditating, I realized that it actually has that positive effect. And when you start
Right.
practicing it, you can see the effects eventually. So that is the reason where, so I started writing as well about these stuffs. And I realized that when people get into it, when people start practicing it, it definitely has an effect on the well-being of every person. So yeah, that was my journey, which gave me the vision that I would want to see myself getting into this field.
Correct, correct, correct. That is a very good. So it's all about, your experience which you would share with us. And I'm sure it would
Yes,
help
yes.
many, many, many people, whoever are watching and wherever it will be shared, it's going to help them. So I have some questions lined up for you, Shivangi, and
Okay.
we'll go through that. And on and
Yes.
off, we'll see if there are any questions popping up online by our viewers, and we'll try to address them as well. Okay. So what is mindfulness?
So, mindfulness is basically a state. It's a state of being aware, a state of being attentive, and a state where you are just in the moment. So, it's not a new age fad, and people keep on talking a lot about mindfulness. So, there is one thing that I would want to talk over here, that life is full of unpleasant moments, and mindfulness is definitely not that aspect which can fix your issues in your life, because life is not rainbows and unicorns. But
Right.
mindfulness can give a direction to your thinking, and once you start practicing mindfulness, you will definitely have a different perspective of dealing with different kind of situations in your life.
Right. Okay.
So
So do
it's
you
more
mean
of like when you are in the moment, when you start being in the moment and focusing on yourself, it is all mindfulness.
right, right? So just to add on to that, it's our human behavior that uh, uh, we have a tendency to always compare the past, present, and future. And
Yes,
as a
yes,
human nature, we are never satisfied. And
yes,
we have so much of regrets about the past. And we have
yes,
so much of anticipatory thoughts, which leads to anxiety. Aage kya hoga? What will
yes,
happen in the future?
yes.
And we forget that we have a beautiful present.
True, true.
So yeah. So I think it's
So
very important. Yeah, yeah. Please
yeah,
go ahead.
so for an example, Harish, so if you are going through a relationship and there is a fall, and a person comes to you, person wants you to acknowledge that this is the problem. Half of the people reciprocate in a very different manner. People have a
Right.
very different approach. They are not having the acceptance to accept the problem, whereas we directly jump on to the conclusion, we start blaming ourselves that this went wrong. And in spite of doing that, if we can be just a little more mindful and try to focus on the problem, why things are not working out, I think if we just focus on the problem and the solution, it can save us from a lot of mini anxiety attacks and a lot of overthinking which we spend into the relationship. So this is
Right,
just an
right,
example. So it's like, again,
right.
it is related to all the past and future experiences. Sometimes people overstress if they are going to make it till the end.
Correct,
But then
correct.
the thing is, in stressing about these small little while you are stressing in these small little moments are going and missing, so it
Right.
becomes easier if you are trying to push yourself to just be in the moment and focus on everything that is around you, what you can do and what can be changed in the moment. Because we do not have any idea, time is very fickle and it is unpredictable, and we can see, I mean, right now we
Correct.
can see a complete proper example what time
Absolutely.
can do to people. So it's very important to utilize every little thing, every little moment, and all the people who are around you. You start feeling blessed, you start feeling and acknowledging that whatever is there in your surrounding, if you start acknowledging everything that you're grateful for, it becomes easier to deal with the problems.
Correct, correct, correct. No,
And
that is
somebody
very
is telling me that they are having tea. I love tea, and it just distracted me.
okay. So basically, just to share my experience also, even I
Yes.
used to have a lot of anxiety. So what really helped me are two things. One
Okay.
is just to not put your emotions. Just
Yeah.
don't put your emotions into it. And second is
Okay.
just slow down your thoughts. Because
Yeah.
it creates a vicious cycle of, like uncontrollable thoughts about kya hoga. And it used to just be so vicious that it would just affect my daily routine. So for me, these
Yes.
two things, and obviously we have to build it upon that slowly and steadily
Exactly. So
and
people have
improvise.
different ways, and there are different
Correct, absolutely,
tactiques.
yeah.
What might work
100%.
for you might not work
Correct,
for
correct.
me. So maybe
Absolutely,
I just need to be vocal about everything. So in order to
absolutely.
move and go past the situation, I have to address my issue. I have to talk it out and then move ahead. But yes,
Correct, correct,
slowing
correct.
down does help. So if you just slow
Yes,
down and be in the moment, it does help to
correct,
heal.
correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
So the next question is, Shivangi, how to follow mindfulness in the simplest possible way?
So, mindfulness in simplest possible way. So, actually, this is a little contradicting thing. People want to learn mindfulness, and they are even looking out for courses that can, train them for mindfulness in the quickest way. But it's something which is having a very huge output and which can get you huge results. So it will need a lot of time, it will need a lot of practice, and once you start being in the process, once you start practicing it, it will eventually happen. So it's a very time consuming process,
Correct,
because
correct,
you
correct.
cannot be like, in 1 month I learned mindfulness, in 2 months I got a grip of meditation, because it will take you at least 1 month to start and be in the process. So once you are in the process, you will start seeing the changes in your behavior. So when you start observing those changes, you will feel good, you will feel light. And but yes, apart from that, mindfulness is all about being in the moment. So if somebody wants to start with mindfulness, they can just notice their surrounding, start focusing on their breathing habit, and take charge of the environment. And whenever they are going to tackle any task, they can keep these things in mind before doing that task, and yes, it will help them.
Right, right. Very true. So the next question is, no moment should simply be an on the way moment. What is your take on this?
No moment should be an on the way moment. It's a very nice question, and I would like to address it with one of my experiences. So I was taking this session in episodes, and I had a small conversation with the AVP there. So I don't know if he'll be watching it. His name was SK. So I got into a conversation with him where he told me that he shifted to Mumbai and he was in Palava and he was traveling every day from Palava to Andheri. So I was like, what? So for Mumbai cars, the traffic is a huge problem and it becomes very difficult when people are out, and that thing always keeps on draining their energy. But he said a very nice sentence that he loves driving and he's fond of audiobooks. So the moment he used to leave from Palava, he used to switch it on, and those 3 hours he used to be very mindful and he used to utilize it in a way, because every
Right.
day you are going to repeat the same activity and you are going to spend 3 hours. So
Correct.
are you going to invest in those 3 hours, or you are going to get drained in those 3 hours is upon you. So every time your car stops in the traffic, you are very mindful and you are focusing on your hearing ability rather than wasting the time and cringing about, you're stuck, you're still not in your office. So half of the people are always in the on the go moment and they are always thinking about the next pursuit of possibility which is there,
Right.
and they miss upon
Right.
the here. So
Correct. Correct.
people leave from their home and they are like, I wish I was in office, I wish I was in the meeting, I wish
Correct.
I was at home, and the mama be
Correct.
changing the diaper and she's like, I wish the kid was asleep. And then I'll spare those 15 minutes for myself and I will take care of myself and follow my self-care routine. So you cannot prioritize your main duty and you cannot keep it for the end of the day.
Right.
So if you want to take care of yourself, you have to start it from the start of the day and you cannot keep it for the end of the day.
Correct.
So this is what we do. And when I met him, I was very inspired because I was all plumped up thinking that when this man will be reaching his office, his energy level and his entire aura will be dope because he has already accomplished the task for the day.
Correct.
And his energy might be really higher than the people who have just spent half an hour in traveling. So
Right.
yeah, it's
Right.
all about, we should try to avoid that thing. Like, we should not dwell upon the pursuits of what could be there and I wish I was into that moment, and start acknowledging what is there right now. So for another example, if I am traveling in train, I do not like train traveling, but either I can plan my day while I'm stuck in train, or I can listen to music. I usually listen to music and I'm completely into my music. So that is how I stop cribbing.
Right. Right.
So
Very
we
true.
have to figure out our ways how we can utilize. Optimum utilization of time can be done in ways when we know what we like and how we can spend our day.
Right. Right. Very true. Very true about it. So just to add on to that, tell me something. This is off the questions what I have. So all
Yes.
about affirmations. You know how important it is to have affirmations in our
Yes.
everyday life, because this is all related to positive thinking, positive thoughts, positive affirmations, how we communicate.
Yes, yes. So affirmations are really very, very important. So I myself have practiced self affirmations, and so there is one thing that people need to practice while they get into self affirmations. When you start any sentence with a not, or any word which has a negative impact in the
Right.
affirmation, it itself is not affirmative. So you have to
Correct.
start replacing those nots with all the positive words, and then it will start working. So if I am saying I fail to concentrate and I am not able to focus on something, I would rather use it like, today I'm going to focus on my to-do
Right.
list, today I'm going to tackle this, today I am going to be more positive about myself, today I so again, I was about to say, today I'm not going to crib. So I am not supposed to use this not in my sentences, which will happen naturally. People will naturally talk about such things, but they have to avoid it so that your brain is not receiving any such signal.
Right.
So
Right.
positive affirmations do have a very positive impact on the brain. So when you start telling 5 things every day, that I'm grateful for this and I am going to acknowledge everything which is coming in my way, everyone who's helping me out during this time. When you start acknowledging these things and when you start talking about these things, it automatically brings compassion in you, and you become more alert about every blessing which is around.
Right, right. So it's so deep rooted, like our human emotions and our behavior is so subconsciously rooted. And
Yes.
these affirmations, as
Neuroscience.
you said,
Yeah.
yeah. So as you rightly said, all this slow and steady change, what we do consciously, they eventually
Yes.
become our habits. They eventually
Yes.
get deep rooted and
Yes.
rewire our brain, our emotions and our subconscious brain. So obviously, it's
Exactly.
going to take a slow and steady process, but it's going to be very effective. And I can see someone
Yes.
commented positive energy attracts, and I truly believe that
Yes.
whatever you think with a very good intent, very positive emotions, you're only going to attract positivity. But unfortunately, it applies for the negative thoughts as well.
Yes.
You
Yes.
end up creating a lot of negativity around you with people, and it can actually impact your relations as well.
Yes. So Harish,
So
the thing is, actually negativity is there. There's a lot of negativity out
absolutely,
there. And
absolutely.
people, when you get into mindfulness, what happens is you start kicking and picking all the emotions that are present outside. So
Correct,
like the aura attracts you, the environment affects you, everything keeps on affecting you when you get into meditation and mindfulness,
correct,
because
correct.
you become very vulnerable. You are in a very
Absolutely.
vulnerable state. So then when you are practicing all these things, you have to even practice like how to protect your energy. That is also one level deeper. You have to protect your energy a lot, because then people can take disadvantage of you.
See, that's what I told you. Don't put your emotions. Half the
Yes.
things is we attract and we anticipate, and then we only, keep cribbing about it. And actually,
Yes.
हुआ कुछ नहीं होता है, और हम लोग सोच के already, we stress our mental
Yes.
state.
So
So in
I will say not about emotions, but it is how you have to train your mind. You have to train
so
your
no, no,
mind
no,
in a
Shivangi, I'll tell you something. Human emotions can really put you down. It can really knock you off.
and
And
human
your
and
emotions.
emotions come together.
Yeah, absolutely. But what?
Yeah.
Any thought, one thing I'll, put it across, for any thoughts, there is always a component of emotion. It's never that your thought is emotionless.
Yes,
Okay?
yes, it can never
Honestly,
be.
yeah,
And
correct.
also the
And
person you have been, Harish, if you have always been an emotional person, you will forever be an emotional person. Only the thing is, you will work on your, circle, you will
absolutely,
work on your
absolutely,
outer shell,
100%.
because you do not want to share your energy with people. You do not
Absolutely,
want
exactly.
people to take advantage of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. 100%. So, okay. So, Shivangi, meanwhile, I just checked the other question. Just scroll through if you can. And if there are any questions, just see if you need to, if you can address them. Okay.
Yeah,
I think most of them are comments. There are no questions as for now,
yeah.
but we'll keep it on hold. Okay. So
Yes.
the next question is, hypo-egoic mindset and mindfulness.
Hypo-egoic mindset
Mindset and
and
mindfulness.
yeah. So do you know about hyper-egoic mindset?
No, no, no. We are all waiting to hear from you.
So basically, I came across this term few months back, and even I was not aware, and I thought it had something to do with the ego. Then I came to realize it's not actually the ego, but it is a mindset where people keep their self aside, and it is more of selflessness. So it's basically a character of a humble, very humble person. So you keep yourself aside and humility comes in. So there are a lot of people who are very successful, and there are a lot of people who are doing really well in their life, but they do not want the titlement,
Right.
and they are so grounded that they want to consider themselves just like others. They also have shortcomings, and they think that they are also dealing with the problems in their life, and they are also learning on daily basis. So they don't want that entitlement that they are doing something extraordinary, and they do not want to consider themselves that special. So it is, I
Correct.
feel that it is because they are so generous and so grounded, which makes them think like that. And it is not just like a person can naturally force yourself to think that way. I think it comes from within. When you are too good, it comes from within. It's a
Correct. Correct.
natural trait, I feel.
Right. So there is a question: is it important to control your emotions when you are an emotional person? What is your take on that?
Personal question. Yeah. So, is it important to, can you
Control your
repeat?
emotions. Is it important to control your emotions when you are an emotional person?
So I believe if a person is very emotional, it automatically becomes very difficult for the person to control their emotion. But they can give direction to their emotions. They can have a control over their emotions. So when you start meditating, when you start practicing anything, when you are too much into meditation, then even you know that you are giving importance to yourself, you are putting your time into something, you will start prioritizing yourself, you will start prioritizing your practices, and you will feel that you have been putting too much of effort into your practices, so you wouldn't let yourself down. And when you don't want to let yourself down, you wouldn't let any negative emotion counter attack you.
Right, right, right.
So
So in
it
that,
gives the person the ability to tackle with all the types of emotions. So when you're
right,
mindful
right,
and you get into that self-care practice, and you start being
right.
mindful and start practicing meditation, you get that charge. I mean, you become a little more authoritative about yourself.
Right, right. So just to add on to my perspective also, so that
Yes.
is very true. We always are so impulsive. We want to do everything fast, fast. We are looking for
Yes.
faster results. So I would, this works for me. I usually cut off from those thoughts. I just escape from those thought process, and I try to engage myself into something productive or something which I am fond of doing. And in that process, I just slow down my thoughts, and that helps me to come up with solutions or steps what needs to be taken to address those problems. So
Yes.
it may work differently for different person,
Yes,
different people,
definitely.
but yeah, definitely right.
So, for
Okay,
an
so
example, people practice different kind of activities to practice mindfulness. So, the activity which might be really engaging for you and which might excite you might not excite me. So,
right,
similarly, it implies on when people are trying to practice workout. So some
right,
might be attracted towards the fast process of gymming, whereas few people might not like it and they might prefer
absolutely,
home workout. Few might go for yoga. So it all
absolutely.
depends upon how you tackle
Take
your
it. Absolutely,
type of
absolutely,
interest.
absolutely. So the next question is, mindfulness starts with mind or heart? Is the question.
Yeah. So I read it. Uh, Mindfulness basically it starts with your mind, and ultimately it starts with your practice. Basically, it's the mind which will push you towards your practice, and mindfulness itself has the mind involved in it. Until and unless you do not push yourself, you are not going to be mindful about anything. So it needs a lot of patience, it needs a lot of practice. So once you push your mind into the process, you will be able to get into mindfulness.
Right. So the next question I can see here is, in what ways positive thinking boosts our self confidence?
So similarly, like the question we tackled, Harish, about the emotion. So when you are too much about positive thinking, when you start giving self affirmations to yourself, when you start training your mind, that when you start training your mind about the importance of self, so automatically your self awareness increases. And when you are
Right.
aware about yourself, it gives you a boost about your skills. You are completely aware about your skills, your shortcomings, and you know to prioritize your values. And it will even boost your confidence because you are
Right.
more self aware. The more self aware you are, the more knowledgeable you are, you become confident about things in life. You
Right.
wouldn't let anyone what do we say, you wouldn't let anyone pull you from your ground if you are self-aware. So any
Right. Right.
negative comment, any negative thing which is not in harmony with your emotions, you wouldn't entertain it.
Yeah. So just to interrupt Shivangi, we are done with 30 minutes. And
Oh my
max, we are
god.
left out with another 25 minutes before,
Okay, okay.
Instagram will just disconnect. So a question by Hetvi. there is a person, whenever he or she comes near me, I feel negativity and I get angry when there is no such situation of getting angry. What can I do for it?
So she means to say there is a person, and whenever the person comes near her, so it is basically your body and soul can guess the energy and aura of the people. So maybe you are not in an angry state, but your body can still sense the aura of the person, which means you have to maintain distance from the from such people. So maybe.
But Shivangi, just to put into
Yes.
that, there are many situations, actually the person may not be wrong. The person who is in front of us may not be wrong. But it
Yeah.
could be a egoistic mind which are creating this insecurities or, the thought process which may cause those negativity thoughts related to that person. It can go.
So basically, Harish, it is like if the person is already trained in a way, and if the person already has a perspective towards people that this person
Exactly.
is wrong or right, then in those
Exactly.
cases, the people need to address the problem because there is some problem in the brain.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
then if you are completely aware of your surrounding, and if you know how to deal with people, you can talk to people, you can be around people, and you have never addressed any such issue, and all of a sudden you have this vibe and you can feel the vibration of a person which is not in synchronicity with your aura, then that is the time where you need to address that your body is giving you some signal and you cannot ignore it. So instincts, I'll say, go with your gut.
Right. True. Okay. Kindness doesn't mean that you have to be a doormat for people. But what if you are and you are not able to stop that?
Okay, so nowadays this thing is very trending that people have to be mindful, people have to be kind, compassionate, grateful, grounded, which is fine. People have to be that. That is definitely there. You have to be very mindful. You have to start practicing a lot of stuffs and bring kindness in your nature so that you do not end up in a situation where you harm someone, and you can feel everyone's emotion. So for an example, in a company, I had this experience, Harish. So I had a new colleague who joined. She was a pregnant lady, and after 1 month, she had some complication, and she was asked to take bed rest, and she was too stressed whether she should talk to the boss or she shouldn't talk to the boss. And I was like, why are you stressing so much? You can just go and talk to her. So when she went and spoke to this lady, I was too impressed by her reply.
Right.
Why didn't you tell me earlier? The boss was like, why didn't you tell me earlier? So sometimes all we need to do is we need to talk about things. We need to ask for things, and you are just given exactly what you were hoping for. So the boss was very kind. But now if the person is not able to understand her kindness and compassion, so there are two types of people. One person would be like, I will forever remember this kind of behavior because I don't know about that lady, but I still remember what the boss replied. So I still have that thinking in my head. And if I was there at her place, I would come back. And I would be very alert and very mindful while I tackle the work environment. I will take charge of a lot of things, and I would be very responsible, thinking that the person could understand me at a time when I needed her to understand me the most. So she was able to empathize with me. Now what happens is, a lot of people, when they know you are too good, they will come back again and again with their problems, and they will start discussing it with you. So you give them an open platter to come and disclose their energy with you. Since you are spoon feeding them those things, they would never understand. They would never understand you. They would never understand the importance of your word, because all they are trying to do is they are trying to dwell on your energy. They want your presence. They are not ready to train their mind. They want to come up with their problems, and they just want to stick to those problems. So in that time, you have to be kind enough. You don't have to take it out from your personality, but you have to cut down these people. You have to cut down on all the energy drainers that are around you.
Right. True. Okay.
So I will say never let anyone take disadvantage of what's your authentic self.
Correct, correct, correct. So the next question is, there will be a lot of questions. Shivangi, you'll have to be very precise now,
Okay,
with the
okay.
short of, the time constraint.
Yes,
Okay. So should we
yes.
always go with our guts is the question.
Uh, you have to even judge the situation, and if your gut is like 90% telling you to follow it, then you have to go. You have to stick to your gut, because at the
Right,
end you won't be happy from your like you won't be satisfied, and you will always think, what if I would have followed my gut?
right, right. Okay. So the next question is, once we are aware of our thoughts, how do we save ourselves from getting into an anxiety loop?
Um So I think that is what like the whole session is all about, Harish. When you start practicing mindfulness, when you start meditating and you keep those 15, 20 minutes for yourself dedicated, and you are practicing it every day, you can encounter these mini anxiety attacks in a very counterproductive way.
Right, right. True. So the next question is, sometimes I'm unable to accomplish my daily goals, which in turn lets me down, and then I waste entire day thinking about it. How do I bring myself on track?
So to bring anyone on track is like to be in the flow. When you have to force yourself to be in the flow. If I have to do my research work and I know okay, it will take 2 hours of my schedule for that research work, then I have to keep a lot of things aside. There are a lot of distractions. For an example, multitasking is a distraction for me. Social media is a distraction for everyone out there. People will start working and they want to check their phone, and a lot of nagging thoughts, a lot of boredom related thoughts are there in the mind. You have to keep all the thoughts aside. You have to keep all these feelings aside and just focus on the task. So when you have dedicated yourself to the task and you avoid those distractions, you just focus on the task, you will be able to accomplish your daily goal.
Right,
You will
right.
be able to be in the flow.
Okay. So, okay. How to maintain continuity with our mindset goal to reach when family asks to do, leave that and start with some job after having failures in the same kind of preparation.
Like, I did not understand.
You are able
What
to
is?
get the question on your screen?
No, I'm
It's by group.
just a second.
It's the fourth last or the fifth last, I believe. Just scroll it down.
How to maintain continuity with our
Yes,
mindset goal to reach when family asks to do leave that and start with some other job after having failures in same kind of preparation. So here I'll say, first you have to know what is your priority and value. Somebody is asking you to leave something and start up with something. First you have to know where your happiness lies. First you have to know where what is your goal and what is your priority in your life. So once you have accomplished it, once you know what are your goals and what are your priorities, I think there is no stopping back. I think it's very easy to be in the continuity and flow. It's my practice, and I have seen myself very dedicated towards things that I tackle in my life, and I do not see myself drifting. So I think once you have prioritized your goals in your life and your job in your life, you will have a direction.
right. So back to the questions which I had. How compassion and mindfulness can push you towards success?
So I think for this question, Harish, I would say I already shared an example and experience of the boss. So I think I would like to relate it with that one, where this pregnant lady went to the boss, and the boss uh, tackled her situation in a very effective and positive way. So you cannot deal with people who are around you. Somebody's coming to you saying depressed and I'm facing this problem, and you cannot tell them, okay, there is this mindfulness activity, you please go and practice it, because it's like you are victimizing them. So you have have to really help them out, and it can happen only when you are compassionate and you can think that they are your team and it's going to affect the entire work and environment. So once you are
Right.
grounded and you start empathizing people and their problems, eventually you will be marching towards success, because once you feel someone, they will be drawn towards your behavior and they will also feel for you. So this definitely implies on genuine people. There are people who will take disadvantage in the course, but again, compassion can lead you to places.
Right. Right. So the
So if
next
you are
question.
not having gratitude, if you do not have positivity in you, there will come a point where you will not get the acknowledgement, you will not accomplish the goals that you actually wanted to.
Right. 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 So the next question is how to tackle overthinking.
Overthinking is something that each of us are like, it's like a web, and a spider is stuck into the web. Everyone goes through this situation, and there is only one or two way by which you can tackle overthinking, and that is like you have to focus and you have to cut down on all the negative thoughts that keep on coming in your mind again and again. So once you cut down those negative thoughts and you start being in the moment, you start acknowledging the moment and focusing on few of the activities, you can cut down on all these overthinking.
Right. Right. Okay. So mindfulness and meditation promote well-being. What's your take on that?
Yeah, definitely. Because nowadays you will see women going in parks with their kids, practicing mindfulness. A lot of corporates have started practicing on the well-being of their teammates, and a lot of schools have counselors. A lot of schools are training kids and pushing them towards meditation. It is definitely reflecting on their well-being, as people are able to take mindfulness and meditation and use it in their work life, use it in the busyness that is in the generation where everything is going digi. You
Correct.
need it, and it's helping you out.
Right. Right. Very true. Okay. So, who or what do you look up to when things don't go as expected for you and nothing is working out?
I just look into my inner self. I'll say when things are not going as per the plan, if I have failed to accomplish a goal or uh, something from my to-do list, I will just sit and I will just try to evaluate myself. I will look back what and where I went wrong and what could have been done to accomplish my goal for the day.
Okay.
So it's like
So,
people have to self-talk a lot of times rather than discussing it. You just talk to yourself. You just try to look through all the things that went wrong. Start focusing on the process. What did you do? How did you start your day? Where you went wrong? What did you do? So once you start acknowledging all these things, you will know what went wrong.
correct. Correct. So, few questions from my side. The last two questions: doorknob or stop practice?
Hmm. Okay. So doorknob stop practice is a very small and meaningful practice. Stop practice in itself says S is for stop, T is for taking deep breaths, O is to observe, and P stands for pick up your intention. So before I was coming live or before you are going live, you will always have your intention towards the live
Right.
session. So
Right.
we
Right.
pick up on our intention before you are going for any meeting. Just pick up your intention, stop, take deep breath, observe and pick up the intention. What is the main goal of the meeting? What do you want to tackle over there, and what do you want, what all pointers you want to cover over there?
Right.
So
Right.
it even goes on all the doctors these days. Whenever they are going to deal with any of the patients for corona, they can just pick up
Right.
their intention and go with a positive mindset. So the
Right. Right.
doorknob is equal to that.
Right. Right. Okay. So, one question: any activities you can suggest for mindfulness?
So Mindfulness, it can include a lot of activities. Mindful coloring, there are a lot of people who are getting involved into mandala painting. You can connect with the nature. So right now, even if you cannot go out, you can simply stand on your window and observe the beauty which is there outside. You can observe the trees, you
Right.
can observe the chirping of the birds, and then uh, self affirmations is also one thing that people would want to, like, people should include if they want to become mindful in their life. And yeah, there are a lot of grounding practices. You can even take guided meditation. You can start listening to calm music. It will really help you a lot.
Right. Right. So we definitely had a lot of questions, Shivangi, and
Yes.
there were a lot of suggestions and a lot of pointers which our audience shared. So thank you so much. I went through all of them, and it was really nice that you all came up with so much of your inputs as well.
Yes,
And
I really like this sentence that Life
yes,
Relatable has posted. And in case if you're not able to achieve the decided core for the day, it's fine. One day is a lot, yes, but slowing down will help you relax and achieve even better things the next day. So this was one very important thing, that it's a very stressful situation out there. Even if you are not able to get most of the productivity on your plate, it is
right,
completely fine as far as you are able to cope up with your day.
right, right, right. So Shivangi, let's take one last question because another 5 minutes we'll have to conclude the session.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So question by Samantha: any activities for children?
For children, so
Yeah.
mindful coloring, mindful painting, they can get into DIY crafting, and yeah, they can get into making videos. I think it's a fun activity for parents and the kids.
Right, right, right. That was really good. Yeah. So I can see many people commenting on that as well. Okay. Yeah, mantras do help definitely to
Yes.
create positivity aura.
So for kids, I would like to say, Harish, kids have a very fragile mind. So when you start
Correct,
training
correct,
it from the beginning itself, when you explode them and like keep meditation and mindfulness in front of them from the beginning itself, they are able to take a lot from it. People who are in their
correct,
40s and 50s, they become a little stubborn with their thinking. So their thinking is not flexible at times. Not everyone,
correct,
but few people. So
correct.
but with kids, it's not like that, right? I mean,
Right.
kids will listen to you, and once they get a hold of things, they will be able to reap the benefits out of it.
True, true, true. That very true. So I think we will conclude that for today. And this is again for the audience because we have had so many questions, real life questions. If you guys want, we can definitely have this talk, having specifically addressing to these questions. So if you all are
Yes,
interested, you can definitely, message me or Shivangi, and we
yes,
will try to make the session specifically coming up with the solutions, related to common problems we face in our day-to-day life.
yes,
So
yes.
do let us know if you all are interested. At least we got an insight and overview about
I
mindfulness.
I wonder how you have completed all the sessions in like half an hour because I think it's too less. It's a daily life topic,
Oh,
and
no, no,
we
no,
all have
Shivangi.
a lot of
Actually,
questions.
the 30 minutes is the targeted. All the sessions actually went up to 45, 50 minutes. And I have
Yes,
to stop by 50. Otherwise, I won't be able to upload on the IGTV because
yes,
it
yes,
allows only
yes.
60 minutes.
Ha,
But
true, true.
no, no, we'll definitely take it ahead. So thank you, Shivangi, for your suggestion, your experience, and what all
Thanks a lot.
you
Thanks a lot.
mentioned. It was really good. We could see a lot of people joined us, and many
Yes.
actually got their solutions, for their problems. And thank you for the audience also to be here to support us and spread positivity. Be calm, be sound, and stay good.
Yes. Yes. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So,
Thank you so much. Yes,
are
Shivangi.
we over? So, I even wanted to say that
Yeah,
mindfulness
yeah, yeah.
might
Please go
be
ahead.
very mainstream nowadays, and people might be talking a lot about mindfulness. They always want to showcase that, okay, I'm learning mindfulness, I'm learning
Right.
meditation, I'm doing this. A lot of times they are just trying to show it off. But as
Correct.
far as
Correct.
you are able to tackle your stress, your
Absolutely.
minor attacks, your anxiety attacks, and you are able to cope up with your depression, it is
Right.
still fine. I mean, just help yourself out and you don't have to
Absolutely.
worry much.
Right. No, very true. I think it all starts with us. It all starts
Yes,
with me first.
exactly.
And if
Yes.
you are able to implement that for your own good, you're already helping many people around you. So,
Yes. True,
yes.
true that.
So, Shivangi, you want to conclude it from your end before I, disconnect?
So I'm really grateful, first of all, that this session happened, and I really like this topic. I want to talk a lot, but we don't have to. We don't.
Oh,
have
we can
time.
always continue.
Yes. We
You
will
know,
try to
over
come
a
up with
period of
another
time.
session if people have
100%.
questions. Yes. So I'm really grateful that all the people showed up, and there were really mindful questions in this session. And I hope we were able to conclude. I hope I was able to farewell to these people with my answer. And I would like to just end it on a thank you note, nothing else.
Right. No, one message, guys. Definitely your health is in your hands. And it's very important that as a member of your family, make sure stay calm, stay positive, and mental health is on a very alarming rate. It's growing high. So make sure as and when you sense it, please do seek professional help and help others as well to come out of this phase. It will be a big help for, people around.
Everyone. And I would just like to say one thing. If people have not tried mindfulness, they should try it once.
They should 100%.
They should try meditation first. Once you'll practice it for 2 weeks religiously. So 2 weeks of religious practice will yield you the result. I mean, you
Absolutely.
cannot practice it one day and then you skip it for 3 days and then you go on the 4th day. So you wouldn't know the benefit of it until you have tried and experimented it. So it's very difficult for people to slow down, and people want the result first and they don't want to put in effort. So
100%.
if you want to see the effort, if you want to see the result, you have to put in effort, and it requires a lot of practice. But yes, with practice you will be able to nail it. I mean, it's very easy.
Yeah, 100%. So on a positive note, let's end this session, and I hope we continue this, Shivangi, in coming week. Let's see how the response is, and we'll try to, modify or just upgrade this session, getting more deeper into this mindfulness and how to implement in your.
Maybe we can pick up 2-3 topics only, and we can just describe it completely.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Harish. Thanks a lot
Thanks,
for having
Shivangi.
me, and you're doing wonderful.
Thank you so much. So thank you, guys.
Good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Stay safe, stay good, and
Thanks
have a
lot,
nice.
everyone. Thanks a lot
Bye.
for joining. Yes, bye.